Hi everyone, welcome to my channel Knitting for Baby. Thank you for watching and thank you for subscribing. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to knit this little hat for baby boys and girls between 3 and 6 months old. It's very easy to make. Now, to make this little hat, I used the magic loop technique using circular knitting needles, so this little hat is worked in the round. Now, be sure to check out down here in the information box on how you can make it smaller or bigger. Okay, so let's get started and thank you for watching. Okay, to begin, I'll be using these 3.5mm circular knitting needles. These are 32-inch, and I'll be using a number 3 baby yarn. You can use DK weight yarn as well. Okay, so to begin, we're going to cast on a total of 80 stitches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the long tail cast on. So to figure out how much yarn I need to leave for my long tail, I'm going to wrap this yarn around 20 times. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Now we're going to pull this off. So here there should be enough yarn for 20 stitches. So if we double this, that's 40, 60, and then 80. So this is how much yarn I'm going to leave for my long tail. Now I'm going to make a loop here. Now if you notice, when I was measuring my yarn, I had my needles like this. This is because I like to cast on my stitches with the needles like this, because that way it's easier to work your first row. So now this yarn is coming from the skein and this is my long tail. So insert your finger like this right in the center, open the yarn, and we're going to go from left to right and we're going to grab a loop. So insert your needle like this, grab a loop, and here's 2 stitches. Again, that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I'm going to continue like this until I have 80 stitches. So continue, and I'll meet you once this part here is done to show you what we need to do next. Okay, I finished casting my 80 stitches and this is how much yarn I had left. Now if you prefer, just leave a little bit more so that this tail here is a bit longer for you. I don't mind working with this because we're just going to join in the round. So I'm just going to tie a little knot here at the end. So here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull one of the needles carefully like this. Just pull on it. And now we have our 80 stitches on this needle. Now we're going to divide half on one side and half on the other. You don't have to be precise. You can have 1 or 2 stitches on one side more than on the other. The important thing here is that all of your stitches are facing down. So I like to just do this. And then right about here, right in the center, we're going to pull this loop like this. And we're going to leave this here. We're going to go to this end. Now make sure that your working yarn, this is the yarn that's coming from the skein, is like this, right on top. Then you're going to push this needle and grab this one. This is going to be our working needle. So to join in the round, to begin, you're going to knit the first stitch like this. And you're going to purl the next. I'm going to do this for about 4 rows where I knit 1 and purl 1. The next one I'm going to knit. You can knit through the center, it's easier for this first row, and then purl the next. Oops, I think I grabbed a little tail here. Purl, knit, and purl, knit, and purl, knit and purl. We're going to do this until I come to my last stitch here. So I'm going to fast forward this because it's basically the same thing where you knit and purl. Okay, I'm almost done. This is my last stitch. My last stitch for me is a knit stitch. For you, depending on how many stitches you have on each side, you might have a purl instead of a knit, but just remember what your last stitch is. So now drop this needle, turn this like this, and push this needle and pull this one. Now, my last stitch, like I said, was a knit. So my next one here is going to be a purl. And then continue with the same thing. Knit one and purl one to the end of this first row. I'll meet you at the end to show you what we need to do next. Okay, I'm here at the end of this first row. Now, my last stitch here has to be a purl because our first stitch is a knit. Now, this is how I finish the first row. Now, drop that needle, turn, and push your needle through. Now, make sure you put a stitch marker here before you continue. This is going to mark the beginning of each row. So now, pull this needle. Now, the next stitch is a knit, so we're going to knit. Make sure that your yarn is actually in front of this wire, like this. See, right there. Now, the next stitch, we're going to knit. Like this. Knit, and the next one, purl. Knit, purl, knit, purl, and so on. We're going to do this for 4 rows. You're just going to knit and purl all around and then repeat. Okay, so continue like this and I'll meet you once we have our 4 rows to show you what we need to do next. Okay, I did a total of 4 rows. Let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. Now, if you want this to be a bit wider, you can continue and make maybe 1 or 2 more rows. I'm going to leave it like this. I think this is a perfect size. So here, what we're going to do is we're going to continue now and just knit all around for a couple of rows until this part here measures about 10 centimeters, which is about 4 inches. Okay, so here what we're going to do is, like I said, the first stitch we're going to knit, the next stitch also knit, and each one of these stitches you're going to knit like this. To knit the purl, just insert your hook through the middle like this, and that should change the direction of the stitch like this. Now, this is just a basic little beanie hat. We're just going to continue like this until this measures about 4 inches or 10 centimeters, where we knit each one of these stitches. I'm just going to finish doing this side so that you can see how I'm going to change to the other needle. These stitches back here, I mean. I've done several of these beanie hats when I'm in a hurry to make a little gift here and there, and they work up super quickly. In another tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can change to different stitches Okay, so this is my last stitch. Now drop that needle, turn this like this, push this needle, and then pull this one, and then continue around, just knitting each one of the stitches. Okay, so continue like this. I'm not sure how many rows this is going to be for me, but I'll meet you at the end of this row to show you what we need to do next. Okay, I have a total of 35 rows, including the 4 rows that we did here, and it's measuring from here to the last row. It's measuring about 5 inches, which is about 12.5 centimeters. Now we're going to start reducing to shape the crown. So what I've done here is I have placed every 10 stitch, I have placed a stitch marker. So from here, this is the beginning right here, I have 10, 10, 10. So I have 2, 4, 6, 7 stitch markers plus this one here. Now we're going to start reducing. So to reduce, we're going to like this. Okay. We're going to pull this one, and we're going to knit 2, 4, 6, 8, and then the last 2 we're going to knit together. Now here at the end right here, there should be also a stitch marker, but I'm not going to add one. I'm just going to always remember to reduce here right before we switch to this other side, because this is the beginning of each row. So I'll show you here. So we're going to knit 8. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now these next 2 we're going to knit together. So insert your needle like this and knit 2 together. And here's the first reduction. Now pass your stitch marker. Now here you're going to knit 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again, knit 2 together, and pass your stitch marker and repeat. Knit 8 and then knit 2 together. Knit 8 and then knit 2 together all the way to the end right here. So I will meet you here to show you what we need to do next. Okay, I'm here at the end. I just need to finish this last group of 10. I'm going to knit 8. Just want to show you here that here at the end, although there is no stitch marker, we still have to make the reduction. Okay, that's 8, then knit 2 together. And here is the first row. Now we're going to push this needle. I turned, and then I'm going to push this needle and pull this one, and here we're going to knit 7. Remember, we always reduce the 2 stitches that are before the stitch marker. So in this row, which is the second row reduction, we're going to knit 7. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now knit 2 together, pass your stitch marker, and repeat. Knit 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, then knit 2 together, pass your stitch marker, and repeat. Continue like this, where you knit 7 and then knit 2 together all the way around. I will meet you at the end of this row to show you what we need to do next. Okay, I'm here at the end. I'm almost done with this second row here. Again, I don't have a stitch marker, but remember that on this side, when we're about to finish the row, we always have to reduce these 2, or the last 2 stitches, like this. Now we're going to turn, and for the third row, here we're going to knit, let's see, 2, 4, 6, and then knit 2 together. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then knit 2 together. Oops. Pass your stitch marker and repeat. Knit 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, knit 2 together, and repeat. This is all we're going to do all around this third row, and then you're going to continue until we have maybe 1 or 2 stitches left. So continue, and I'll meet you once we have 1 or 2 stitches left to show you how we're going to close the top of the hat. Okay, I have 2 stitches in between each one of the stitch markers, so what we're going to do for this next row is we're going to knit 2 together all the way around. And we can remove our stitch markers. So these first 2 stitches here, you're going to knit 2 together, remove your stitch marker, knit 2 together again, remove the stitch marker, and knit 2 together all the way around. So continue like this, and I'll meet you at the end of this row to show you what we need to do next. Okay, I finished the last row where we knit 2 together, and now I have 8 stitches, 2, 4, 6, 8. Now we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to knit 2 together, and then we're going to be left with 4 stitches at the end of this row. So continue, knit 2 together until you have 4 stitches, and I'll meet you once this row is done to show you what we need to do next. Okay, I have 4 stitches left. Now I've cut my yarn, so what we're going to do is we're going to go around. So I'm going to go through this stitch and then this next stitch like this. Pull, and then I'm going to remove this needle and hold on to these 2 stitches, make sure that you don't lose them, and then insert your needle through these last 2 stitches. Now we can pull this, but first we're going to go through the inside. Just pull on it and then insert the needle like this through the inside, and just weave your ends, and this is what it looks like. This is the top of the baby hat. That's what it looks like with all of the reductions, and our baby hat is done. I think I'm going to add a little pom-pom, not exactly sure, but let me show it to you how it looks here with my little model. Now her head circumference is about 15 inches, which is about 38 centimeters. So let's see how it looks. Perfect. Now, if it's too long, you can always fold it here. And that's what it looks like. Perfect. This is the back, or the crown. That's what it looks like. So I'd say that this little hat here is for baby between 3 and 6 months old. Okay, so this has been today's tutorial. I hope you like it. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time.